Folks, you're with Tacitus today. Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. Please listen to this broadcast as you would as you would a radio broadcast. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the families and the victims, the young girls themselves in the UK, victims of the grooming gangs. Now, some of these women are, or they're now women, and they're in their late 20s, early 30s. The early tranche, if you like, of the victims. That's how long it's been going on for. And there's a few, their faces are hidden and the family members. But there's a number of interviews you can find online of the family members and the girls themselves that have been recorded. Now, you don't necessarily hear the questions or all of them, and I don't know how hand-picked they are to find the simplest and least articulate victims. But anyway, for me at least, I struggle to listen to these things for more than a minute or two. And I wanted to listen through it so I can use it as material for this video I'm doing now. But it's hard to believe that there are people out there who are that simple, and they clearly have minimal brain power and the inability to articulate even the simplest concepts. And even very basic things they can't articulate, and they seem to be unable to grasp, again, very simple points. And it seems that they don't even understand the simple questions they're asked. Now, the parents, you listen to the mother and the father of the child, or one parent or the other, or both, and they talk, and they're equally simple. Now, I don't know how it's possible to go through the education system for that many years and be that simple-minded. I mean, they can't all be retarded, for goodness sake. Maybe they are. But now, not only are they, unusually simple, I would argue, and it's hard to believe that there are people out there that are that simple. Now, there are people who are not sophisticated, people maybe who can't grasp, difficult, complex issues, plenty of those around, but the idea of people that are this simple, I mean, surely not, and that they can exist in such numbers, because it seems that every interview and pretty much every person who's now, of course, a grown-up woman that is interviewed seems to be equally stupid. I don't understand how that's possible. Again, how can you be in the education system for that long? Now, we're looking at if this is the case, this is a massive failure of the education system. Now, they all seem to have one thing in common, that's their white working class. These are people at the end of the line, people who don't matter, the people that no one cares about, the people that when it comes to the London elites, these folks in these northern working class suburbs, they're not even the shit on the shoes of the elites. They're lower than that. And it comes across in the attitude towards them and the way they're treated. We don't believe in Britain anymore, or fellow citizens, that's out. That's Nazi. Only Hitler would do something like that. So these people are really cannon fodder type. They're just useless. They're nothing. They don't even exist in the material sense. And they're treated accordingly. The disdain they get from not only the political elites, but the police and the very sophisticated people who run around saying, well, I've got a gender studies degree. I hate all white people. So I'm sophisticated. I'm civilized. And again, very difficult to listen to these things and listen to these interviews and to come across people that are that simple and that unable to understand. They seem to be still in a state of bewilderment that, well, why didn't the authorities stop it? Why didn't they do anything? Why didn't they? No, and that's true. Those are very material questions. But why were you out on the street when you were 13 years old at 4 o'clock in the morning? Why were you out? And why were you there? Why were you so simple that some Pakistani man comes by and says, I'll give you drugs and booze, and then you can't wait to jump in the car? I don't get that. So we're looking not only simplicity of mind, but there's the complete absence of what we would consider a moral code, even a minimal one. You don't jump into strangers' cars. I mean, surely you know that. You don't need to be sophisticated. Now, given the amount of, even people today that are in their mid-20s or older, I might mention some well-known classic book. It could be a book in philosophy ranging, I don't know, Goethe, Nietzsche, or a classic novel or whatever. And I get a stare, I don't read books. Well, what about Kindle? No, I don't do that. No. So maybe the opportunities to gain some sort of framework for at least basic thought processes that have some sophistication to them, maybe that's been lost. Maybe that's been gone. I don't know. But it's hard to believe that many people who are that simple and that unable, again, to articulate even very simple concepts, that they could exist in those sort of numbers. It's easy to see how the elites may not care. They're beyond saving. They're beyond caring about why should we give a shit. At least the Pakistani Muslims coming in, at least they've got the family structure and a strict moral code around their religion to sort of hold them together, even though they may be equally, if not more, stupid. But in England and the West generally, we've lost that. So things where religion may have filled the void of a moral code of some sort, that's gone as well, eagerly being trashed and pushed aside by the elites. But these are the unwanted, the wandering lambs. They're like cast adrift, and nobody cares about them. And I find that rather annoying. Now, given that the elites claim to be, well, we want to give voice to those who have no voice, such as LGBTQ, trans, or whatever, because it's cool and sexy to be. What about their voice? What about the voice of these people? They're simple and dispossessed, disregarded, spat upon. Why shouldn't they have a voice? And why shouldn't there be those running around who are equally concerned about giving those people a voice? Because they don't seem to have too many friends in high places. Hopefully that'll change. You've been fantastic today, your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening.